The sound of laughter echoed through the girls' locker room, but it wasn't the good kind. It was sharp, cruel, and aimed at one person. "Hey, new girl," sneered a voice. "You sure you belong here? You look like you should be cleaning this place, not using it." Mira kept her eyes on the locker, her hands trembling slightly as she changed into her gym clothes. She had been through this before. The whispers, the mockery, the smirks that followed her everywhere. But today, something was different. Because deep inside her bag, wrapped in a faded towel, was something she hadn't shown anyone. Not in this school, not anywhere. A pair of worn-out MMA gloves. No one here knew who she really was. No one knew what she could do. And when the bullies cornered her that afternoon in the locker room, calling her names, throwing her bag across the floor, they had no idea that they were seconds away from finding out. When Mira Tran walked into Crescent Valley High for the first time, she looked like any other quiet transfer student. She kept her hair tied back, wore oversized hoodies, and avoided eye contact. She had moved from one school to another after her father's passing, a former military man and MMA trainer who had raised her alone. After he died, Mira's mother couldn't afford to stay in their old neighborhood. They moved to a smaller house near the city outskirts, and Mira was enrolled in Crescent Valley, where students came from money, luxury, and legacy. From the moment she arrived, she stood out. The other girls in her class, led by the self-proclaimed Queen Bee, Riley Carson, didn't take long to target her. Riley was tall, blonde, athletic, captain of the cheer team, and had a following that treated her like royalty. Mira, she was an outsider. Her sneakers were faded, her backpack was stitched in places, her eyes held something that made people uncomfortable, a calmness they mistook for weakness. "Nice shoes, thrift store?" Riley mocked one morning, blocking Mira's locker. Mira didn't reply. She simply took a deep breath, stepped aside, and walked away. Riley smirked. "Guess she can't even talk." Laughter followed Mira down the hall, but she didn't react. Not because she didn't feel it, she did, but because her father's voice still lived in her memory. "People will always test you, kid, but remember, power isn't about proving them wrong, it's about knowing when you have to." She repeated those words in her head every time she felt small, but that peace would soon be tested beyond anything she expected. The incident, it started after PE class. Coach Daniels had excused the class early for a track meet, and Mira went to the locker room alone to grab her things. That's when she heard the door slam shut behind her. "Well, look who's here," Riley's voice echoed, followed by two of her friends, Lexi and Brooke. Mira froze, sensing the tension. Riley stepped forward, arms crossed. "You think you can just ignore me every day? Too good to talk, huh?" "I'm not ignoring anyone," Mira replied quietly. "I just don't like drama." Riley snorted. "Oh, she talks now." Brooke reached for Mira's bag, unzipped it, and dumped everything on the floor. Books, clothes, and the gloves. Lexi picked one up, laughing. "What are these? Boxing gloves? What, you gonna fight us?" Riley smirked, leaning close. "Or maybe her daddy's gloves? Oh, wait. Didn't he die in some cheap fight or something?" Mira's body went still. Her father's death wasn't public. Only the transfer form mentioned it vaguely. She slowly looked up at Riley, her eyes cold and still. "Put them down," she said softly. "Oh, are we supposed to be scared now?" Riley mocked. "Or what, you gonna cry?" "No," Mira whispered. "I don't cry, I warn." Riley didn't listen. She shoved Mira against the locker. "Warn me, huh? Go ahead, new girl." But before she could finish, Mira's hand moved like lightning. She caught Riley's wrist, twisted it down, and pivoted her body in one clean motion, the kind that came from years of training. Riley screamed as her knees buckled, and within seconds, Mira had her pinned to the ground, arm locked in a controlled submission hold. "Stop!" Brooke shouted, frozen in shock. Mira's voice was calm, almost gentle. "Say you're done, Riley." Riley struggled, pride clashing with pain. You psycho." Mira tightened her hold just slightly, enough for Riley to feel it. "Say it! I'm done, I'm done!" Mira released her immediately and stepped back, breathing evenly. Riley clutched her wrist, pale and stunned. Mira looked at her once, picked up her gloves and said softly, "Next time, pick someone who can't fight back." She walked out, leaving the locker room in stunned silence. The aftermath by lunch, the story had spread like wildfire. Students whispered in the halls. She knocked Riley out cold. She used some kind of martial arts move. Even the teachers heard about it. Mira was called to the principal's office, where Coach Daniel stood waiting. "Mira," the coach said slowly, "Riley says you attacked her." Mira kept her gaze steady. "She cornered me. I defended myself." Coach Daniels leaned back, studying her. "That move, that wasn't random. Where did you learn that?" "My dad taught me," she said. "He was an MMA trainer." Something changed in the coach's eyes, respect, maybe even pride. "You handled it better than most would. But still, I can't let this go without review. Stay out of trouble until I talk to the board." Mira nodded and left quietly. Later that day, as she sat alone on the bleachers after class, she heard footsteps. It was Riley. Her wrist was wrapped, her face unreadable. "I guess you think you're some kind of hero now," Riley said. "No," Mira replied. "I didn't want to hurt you." "Then why did you?" "Because you didn't stop." There was silence. Riley looked away, guilt flickering across her face. I didn't know about your dad. I just didn't like you. You were so quiet, it made me feel invisible." Mira sighed softly. "You don't have